Greetings.
Hello.
Welcome back to Morbid Mondays.
Touch the fucking mic.
Your unhinged source for what the fuck moments throughout history, where we will take turns giving you your weekly tour of all the gross, gory, and downright odd moments in all of history and current events sometimes. We are your hosts.
I'm Katie.
I'm Brian.
Why the fuck you strip me up like that?
I just switched it just for the hell of it.
Why?
Now let's get into it.
Fuck.
Buttonate the button is what you said.
Buttonate the motherfucking button.
That's great. So today I definitely am going to start with trigger warnings.
I was about to say, because I have not done it the last couple of times, and I need to get better at that.
So and this one specifically will need it because trigger warnings, snakes.
Ooh.
And people have feelings about hearing about snakes. So like some
tired of
people
these
just hate
motherfucking
them.
snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Yeah, we're going to be tired of these snakes on this motherfucking island.
Ooh. Hold up.
Crazy.
I may have a vague notion of what this is about.
Yeah. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Now that we have that all over the way, very little of anything else other than snakes. That's my only real
Okay,
trigger
cool.
warning. 28 miles off the Brazilian coast of Sao Paulo, roughly 11,000 years ago, the seas began to rise, cutting the island off of the mainland. This is the end. This is a consequence of the end of the Ice Age. Sea levels are rising.
I was about to crack a joke about Pangea. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
This bitch don't know about Pangea.
Pangea. I have met that bitch that doesn't know about Pangea.
What?
Uh-huh. We'll talk about
Put a
that
pin in that later.
Yeah. Greetings.
Hello.
Welcome back to Morbid Mondays.
Touch the fucking mic.
Your unhinged source for what the fuck moments throughout history, where we will take turns giving you your weekly tour of all the gross, gory, and downright odd moments in all of history and current events sometimes. We are your hosts.
I'm Katie.
I'm Brian.
Why the fuck you strip me up like that?
I just switched it just for the hell of it.
Why?
Now let's get into it.
Fuck.
Buttonate the button is what you said.
Buttonate the motherfucking button.
That's great. So today I definitely am going to start with trigger warnings.
I was about to say, because I have not done it the last couple of times, and I need to get better at that.
So and this one specifically will need it because trigger warnings, snakes.
Ooh.
And people have feelings about hearing about snakes. So like some
tired of
people
these
just hate
motherfucking
them.
snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Yeah, we're going to be tired of these snakes on this motherfucking island.
Ooh. Hold up.
Crazy.
I may have a vague notion of what this is about.
Yeah. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Now that we have that all over the way, very little of anything else other than snakes. That's my only real
Okay,
trigger
cool.
warning. 28 miles off the Brazilian coast of Sao Paulo, roughly 11,000 years ago, the seas began to rise, cutting the island off of the mainland. This is the end. This is a consequence of the end of the Ice Age. Sea levels are rising.
I was about to crack a joke about Pangea. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
This bitch don't know about Pangea.
Pangea. I have met that bitch that doesn't know about Pangea.
What?
Uh-huh. We'll talk about
Put a
that
pin in that later.
Yeah. So because that's so this is a tiny, what would have been a little like isthmus out into the ocean, much like, let's say, or small island with narrow, with shallow water, say like Miami, the ocean levels are rising. It has now been cut off, right?
It permanently grounded.
Isolated evolutionary environments lead to very interesting life forms.
Yes.
Such as the Venus pod, if y'all have ever seen that, which is a giant seed of a tree that looks kind of like a vagina a little bit, which is why they call it that. It doesn't at all. It looks like a heart. It looks like a giant heart. And
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's also how we got dodos, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are another, like, you get a lot of things that are called like island dwarfism, where you get smaller versions of other animals.
Or you get the really big versions.
Yeah, which is, for whatever reason, island gigantism.
That's it. Thank you. I could not
And
think
so,
of it.
like, sometimes it's because animals have to get bigger in order to leave said island, right? So sometimes you get birds that are huge.
Or eat. Which
Yeah.
is how we got dinosaurs that were, giganto huge.
Yeah. And like that's a weird thing. Evolution has no plan, so it just does weird shit.
Vibes. No
Yeah.
plan, only vibes.
In 1532, it was mentioned during the expedition of Portuguese military leader Martim Afonso de Sousa. Although I'm sure indigenous people in the area definitely knew of the existence of all the islands that they lived in. And like that was said many times in the internet. He was like, he discovered it. It was like,
No, he
there's
didn't.
whole ass empires there already, but okay.
That shit drives me crazy.
Yeah, I was just like, sure, man. I mean, there was like 3 kingdoms in the area that were.
But he discovered it.
Yeah.
Totes.
It's cool. Yeah. So, but due to the nature, so according to local legend, let's start with that. One day, a man made his way to the island in search of bananas.
As you do.
As you do. A few
Recently
days
learned
later,
that there are blue bananas. That's so cool.
right?
Anyway, continue.
A few days later, he was found on the shore in a pool of his own blood, still in the boat that he had traveled there to.
Uh-oh. Water snake got him.
Covered in snake bites. According to, due to the nature of sea levels and sea travel in Brazil, the Brazilian Navy decided to build a lighthouse in 1909. This is, of course, many, many years later. A lot of shit happened in between 1500s and the 1900s. The thing is, there's not a lot outside. There's not a lot of anything about this little island. Because whenever people go to the island, they have a tendency not to come back.
That's crazy.
So, like, it starts to become like a local lore of like, hey, don't go there. You'll wind up in a pool of your own blood inside of your boat. Covered with puncture wounds. But so, it's a little island in off of, it's about, like I said, about 28 miles off the coast of Brazil. So, a lighthouse needed to be put there so that people can sail around, right? 1909, a lighthouse was built on the island. There was one problem, however. Again, snakes. According to legend, when the lighthouse was being built, snakes would pour into places. So what they started to do is set the island on fire to clear all the brush, right? Because the snakes are in the brush.
Yeah.
You see them coming. Let's light this bitch up.
As you do.
Yeah, clear the vegetation off. Some things say that this was done in order to banana farm. I don't believe those things. And the reason why is because if you're going to clear cut to plant bananas, it's not going to be on a remote, isolated island.
Yeah.
That doesn't really make a lot of sense. You're just like, you would just go further inland, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's how that would work. So according to records about this lighthouse and mostly local legend, very little is available on this. They start building this lighthouse. And the lighthouse keepers that are there, like, they finally get it set up, right? It's all set up. It's all fine. Half the fucking island's been burnt down. They got this lighthouse up, and the last family that is there is found dead. The man, the woman, the children. And according to local legend, snakes poured in through the windows inside of the home and killed everyone. And that this is not the only legend about this. People who are building it say the snakes would come after them. There's a lot of stuff about you would be dead in 6 hours. These snakes just come at you.
That's crazy. Well, so like, I guess from a scientific perspective, they may very well not have had any sort of predator on that island.
So that is a thing.
So they wouldn't have the fear response of, that's bigger than me.
So that is a thing. That is definitely a thing. Part of it is that they were so isolated without predators is why they turn out to be the way they are. But I've got really good news for you. We'll get into later. The Ilha de Queimada Grande, which is in Portuguese, which is why it's slightly different. It sounds kind of like it's not quite said right. Not in Spanish, but Portuguese, which means large burn, which is the Queimada Grande part.
Well, yeah, consider they set the island on fire multiple times.
Is a 43 hectare or 106 acre of dense island canopy on a little island outside of Sao Paulo. And I've got good news and bad news. So the bad news is that it did not work. Burning the island, controlling the vegetation did not stop the snakes.
I would imagine not, because most snakes have the capability to burrow.
Right.
And or like travel overseas. Snakes can swim, by the way. Most of them are very, very good at it and can hold their breath For up to an hour.
You're going to be really glad that these ones don't.
Oh.
So, like, thankfully, because of how they eat, they don't really go anywhere.
Okay, cool.
So this island, by 1920, the lighthouse was completely automated. They didn't want to put any more people there.
Can't imagine why.
Right, because people, the true part about this, thankfully, that thing about the family, total myth.
Okay.
There's no verification on this whatsoever. However, people do die a lot on this island. And so, like, no real numbers. Because, again, we're talking about, like, 1800s fishermen, right? People aren't recording. There's just a lot of colloquial, like, legends about guy went there and nobody comes back. People don't go on that island. You don't live.
Ooh.
The legend is that pirates put snakes there a long time ago to guard their treasure. And so if you go there, you might be able to find it.
I fucking love legends like that.
Isn't that great?
I love it.
I mentioned the thing of before about the waters rising 11,000 years ago. More or less to answer that. So Snake Island, as this place is largely called in English, although if you Google Snake Island, it will largely point to places off the coast of Mexico and also in China, because there's an island with like cobras on it called Snake Island. Not that Snake Island. This one is off of Brazil. It is called the island of Large Burn. Snake Island has between 2,000 and 4,000 golden lancehead vipers. If you Google this...
Fancy.
And they are dope looking.
Oh, I do see them.
If you Google this, it will tell you, and the common thing that you will hear everywhere is about 1 per square meter. In some densely forested areas, I put exclamation points in my notes about this, because when you look it up on the internet,
that is an angry looking noodle.
Bright gold.
Yeah.
It is a viper, right? Like it looks like a viper. Like you look at it and go, "Oh, you're dangerous." Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That one looks like a soft little noodle. But
is it a baby?
Oh no, it's just all coiled up, so you can't see.
Oh,
the
it's
arrowhead.
not raising as they are called lancehead vipers because their head, when angered, is in the shape of a lance point.
They do have a very angular head.
Yes. Yeah.
And they will puff up, apparently.
Very much so.
Like their scales are pointed, and they'll...
Yeah, they become like jagged.
Yeah. That's cool!
They're pretty dope looking, right?
Sorry, for those that don't know, I like snakes.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. The internet does math wrong a lot, especially when you...
You're telling me I just had to, like, translate microcuries to bananas.
Yes, that whole thing. And then, like, when you look up specifically, when you learn what a microcurie is, and then you look up, well, how many does it take to produce a microcurie? It like, boom, gives you an answer.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody's done a 1-to-1 or whatever. But if you try to do it yourself, because you get so much variation in what people say, it's not necessarily the math is, like, crazy. It's that everyone says something different.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Trust me, I know.
Yeah. So here's the thing that I came up over and over and over again. They will tell you flat out that there's 1 per square meter. If people know what this island is and you mention to them, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's that crazy place where there's a snake for every yard." But that's not true, right? They will tell you like flat out there's 1 per square meter on a 445,000 square foot island. And here's the square meter island. So here's the actual breakdown of the amount of snakes that we're dealing with, right?
Because like even for me, that's too damn many snakes.
I'm going to give us a stagnant number because there's like 10 different numbers on the sides of this island. 44.5 hectares is 445,000 square meters. Divide that by 4,000 snakes, which is at the upper end. And you will get approximately 111.25. So that would require you to have, for 1 every meter, it would require you to have 445,000 snakes, which we do not have.
You wouldn't be walking on land, you would be walking on snake.
Right. They would be literally everywhere you went.
Yeah,
every 3 feet or so, another snake, right? Like, that's not really possible.
First of all, snakes are territorial.
Yes.
So that's not
kill each other.
That's not going to happen simply by nature of the viper itself.
Right.
Snakes are solitary. They don't like other snakes.
So here's how this actually happens, right? They don't snakes don't often occupy clearings or coastlines.
Nope.
Because they're vulnerable. They don't have arms and claws.
They are noodles.
Yes.
They got teeth.
They
So
also
some of them have teeth.
Some of them have teeth because some of them don't, right?
Yeah.
Or they have teeth, but they don't have like fangs. So they feed on nesting migratory birds, and maybe invertebrates when they're young, when they're small hatchlings. Migratory birds are caught while the snake hides in the tree.
Mm-hmm.
This is how they survived. So when the ocean levels rise, I'm talking with my hands. Okay, he's following my hands. When the ocean,
Hey, look, I've got a visual aid. Y'all can just suffer.
yeah, when the ocean levels are rising, these snakes get trapped on the island, and they evolve in order to catch birds as their migratory path comes by, right? So they don't evolve as sea snakes, although sea snakes are on this island.
Oh, yeah.
There are other snakes on this island. We're just talking about the lancehead, the golden lancehead. How they eat is they get up in a tree, and when the birds come by in their nesting season and land in the tree, they pop them. This means that the guys that don't have very strong poison, they don't get to eat because the bird flies off and dies elsewhere. But the guys that have poison that is so strong it paralyzes you instantaneously, they get to eat. So evolutionary forces taking place 11,000 years.
That is the most venomous.
These things are crazy dangerous. So to explain why the 1 square meter thing happens in specific areas more, pockets of the island are densely forested areas. So they have more tree cover.
Which means more snakes hanging out in trees.
Right. And more safety.
Where they food.
Yeah. You don't want to be in a tree in the middle of a field because now all the other birds can see you.
Yeah.
And some of those birds eat snakes. So like... So there's that, right? It's a real mongoose cobra type scenario when you're dealing with raptors. So you want dense forest. The island is not all dense forest. It's a rocky outcrop. Also,
beaches.
Yeah. And also, when you have a bunch of snakes and they breed, they often come together in like
tangles
groups,
yeah.
Right? So there are portions of the island, especially at some points in the year, where you do have a snake like every foot.
And the occasional, like, tangled knot of them.
Yeah, and they're all crazy dangerous. The discrepancy in 2 to 4,000 is A, they're hard to find, and B, babies don't always live in the wild.
True.
So at the end of your egg-laying season, when you have a bunch of, like, little ones hatching, you have more snakes.
Is this one of the cases where the little ones are as venomous, if not more venomous, than the large ones?
Typically speaking, that's the case with any kind of viper, and
I thought so, but I wasn't sure.
The reason why is because they don't have control.
Mm-hmm.
When they bite something, they let all of their venom out in one pop, whereas a older snake would keep the bites are painful if they have venom in them, right? So they don't always do that. They usually release a portion of their venom when they get older.
Mm-hmm.
This is the case with rattlesnakes, anyways.
Yes.
Baby rattlesnakes will inject the fuck out of you.
Cottonmouths too.
Yeah. Whereas the
Texas snakes,
right? Yeah,
shit we know about,
timber rattlers and all that stuff. Very small snakes are usually like deadly. A lot of them are just deadly.
Mm-hmm.
The coral snake, right? It doesn't really matter what age you get them; they pop you. That's some serious potency. Where am I at with these damn things? Oh, so you mentioned before about the predators not having any predators.
Yeah.
That is 100% true with these.
Yeah.
They don't have
the repetitive response.
Right. There's almost no there's no ground predators to speak of on the island outside of like toads and lizards. So when they're a baby, they might be in danger. As a full-grown snake, nothing's touching this fucking thing.
Yeah, so they're just going to come at anything coming on that island.
Right. They don't encounter humans very often. They do hide. As a snake, they hide for birds, right? So they're not likely to come at you like all these legends say.
Oh, yeah. Well.
But they are a snake that hides. So if you, say, pull up your little banana boat, literally, and you're on the island, when you get back to your boat, the cover that you've put on your boat, there might be a lot of snakes under that cover, right? This is what happens. We live in Texas, right? If you throw a bunch of, like, old timber in your backyard, like fence posts and stuff, fence boards, you have to be careful in the summer when you go up to that fence board.
Or when you leave your boots outside.
Yeah, because there could be a snake in there.
Snake or spider.
Or a spider. Yeah, because they get into things, right? that's probably what's actually going on here, is that they're like escaping rain, or they're escaping another predator, or they're just looking for a place to den in.
Mhm.
And then you wind up
And then
stepping on them or near them or whatever, right? But they do have some parasites. They have ticks, and they are known in their like little mouth tube that you see. A lot of snakes have that like little venom injector thing that they got going, not through their teeth, but like that little hollow tube under
it's
their.
usually their tongue.
Yeah, they get fluke worms, which is super gross. But like they get fluke worms in those. It doesn't seem to be killing them though. They have a parasite every once in a while. Fingers are real useful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like animals that don't have hands, they get a lot of stuff like this. The Jararaca, I hope I'm saying that right, is a highly venomous pit viper native to South America. These snakes are solitary and nocturnal, hiding under leaves, logs, rocks during the day. Juveniles primarily feed on frogs and arthropods, while adults mainly consume rodents, making up about 80% of their diet. Jararacas are known for their accurate and aggressive strikes, with very low failure rate when hunting. That's from facts.net. This species is thought to have been stranded on the island 11,000 years ago. And after about 11,000 years of evolution,
Selective evolution.
yeah, and this also happens on the mainland because 90% of snake bites in Brazil come from lancehead snakes, a close cousin of the golden lancehead. They like convergent evolution. They both start with the same snake over the course of time. All of these snakes are considered lancehead snakes.
Mm-hmm.
The fer-de-lance is a cousin as well.
Ferda.
And if you if you have watched a lot of like survival shows, you will know that the fer-de-lance kills people all the time. It's like all around the Caribbean and Amazon. It's a very feared snake. It gets into stuff. It bites you. It seems to want to bite you. And in 1985, the Brazilian government declares the island a federal conservation unit, protecting its unique ecosystem.
Don't go here.
Don't go here. Straight up no-go zone. When you look at like Rio, like some of there's a information site for Rio de Janeiro.
Mhm.
It just says it's an NG zone. That's what it says. No-go zone.
Literally no
Yeah.
go.
And I was like, that's so crazy. But it seeks to protect the very unique ecosystem of the island, which is a migratory bird stop and also home to this very unique snake.
The snake that says, fuck you.
Yeah, if I bite you, you will pay. So, and here's what I found about that. All right. So their bites, 7% of people who get bit
Mhm.
do not survive.
Okay.
3%, like of that 7, like if you get treated, 3% live, 3% don't. So accounting for a 1% margin of error, the anti-venom is only 50% effective. It's painful. It's a massive hemotoxin.
Oh.
It blisters on contact. People like, because nobody's been bitten by one of these, like in modern recording, outside of like scientists who immediately
that would make
flush.
sense too, because these snakes have evolved to hunt fucking birds.
Right. And they have to die quickly.
Yeah.
Right. So they have to bleed out immediately.
And most snakes that aren't constrictors, don't have mouths made to lock. The more you know. Thanks, Hunter.
Yeah. Right. Like, especially here in Texas, our rattlesnakes, right, have break off fangs.
Yeah.
They don't, they will let you run.
Like they are designed to snap, deliver the bite, and
if you rip off their fangs in the process, they have like a secondary pair that will fall in.
yeah.
Yeah. They've evolved these great defensive mechanisms for hunting. And this guy, if it bites you, it's painful immediately. In some people claim, because I say some people claim because outside of scientists that have gone to the island, there's not a lot of human contact that's recorded. So what we have is lab tests with like rats, right? So because they got to feed them, right? Like,
Yeah.
so they give them like mice and shit or birds or whatever.
Burb.
When they bite, the site blisters immediately. Sometimes like people record that the flesh melts off of you
Wow.
because it's right. blood cells and skin cells are still just cells.
Yeah.
And it starts like that's what happens is that you just start bleeding. So remember that guy found in his boat.
Puddle
He
of
was
blood.
covered in a puddle of blood. Yeah. And sometimes the myth's pretty accurate to real life.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
especially if you got popped multiple times. Why, if it's so dangerous, and some sources say, by the way, if you get hit, you have about an hour to live.
What's the snake that they called the two-step?
The what now?
There is a snake. Like, and this knowledge is old. Let me preface this real quick. This knowledge is from like the Darwin days of like the Animal Planet, and it came along the same time as I learned about like red and yellow kill a fellow, red and black.
Yeah.
Friend of Jack. But there is a snake there's a venomous snake that like, according to, I guess the lore around said snake is like, if you get hit and that bite is venomous, you take 2 steps and you're dead.
I don't know of anyone that's that poisonous, but I don't know.
I remember it being a sea snake, but that's really all I remember about it anymore.
Because they have to kill things on one strike, right? And then leave.
Yeah.
I mean, this one's not giving you better. It's not giving you much better. You got like an hour to deal
I was
with
going to
it.
say, because like given the nature of its venom, like the way that it like attacks and essentially like melts the cells, like it dismantles you from the inside.
Yeah.
And considering how fast the human circulatory system is, like even damage.
The longest thing that I heard about this, of like how fast you can die from it, is that some said, this is again, internet, fucking sometimes, there weren't a lot of, because there's no ethical testing on a human body, right?
Yeah, you can't.
So there's not a lot of places, if no one's ever recorded a person dying from being bitten, there's not a lot you can tell. And so some places said 6 hours, some places said as little as 1. My guess is if a guy gets bit and they're trying to deal with it, it might take up to like 12. But if you get bit and then you're running through the forest as fast as you can, it might kill you quite quickly. Or if you're literally a child.
Yeah, I would imagine, like, because one of the big things, especially with snake venom, is that they tell you to try to stay calm.
Yeah.
Like, tourniquet the area and try to stay calm.
Because the faster your heart beats, the faster it spreads.
Yeah.
And especially with hemotoxin, right?
Yeah.
So that was my take on it anyways, was that like the discrepancy probably has to do with the size of the adult, and how fast they move, all that, how fast their heart rate is. Because we're talking about like trying to approximate birds and rats to human beings. Which is famously difficult.
The closest analog that you could get for an animal testing to a human would be a pig.
Yes.
And
that there's nothing ethical or moral about letting a pig slowly die from golden lancehead viper.
That is no thank you.
So here's some crazy stuff about this. Crazy shit about this. So poachers. Before I go into that, if they're so deadly, why is it only like 7%? Right? For those of y'all not in the know about this, most snake bites are what are called dry bites.
Yes.
Because they don't want to eat you. You're not a bird.
Yeah.
So they're popping people and there's no venom.
And it takes them time for their bodies to generate said venom.
Right.
And occasionally it has been speculated that a venomous bite also hurts the snake.
Yeah. Yeah, because all of their glands like compress real fast.
Yeah.
It forces through their teeth. Sometimes they lose their teeth.
Kind of like that frog that's defense mechanism is to like squirt blood from its eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that's, and that's not uncommon in evolution. I mean, like our defensive mechanism to danger is adrenaline.
Yeah.
It makes us run real fast.
I was about to say, we're also a species that was designed to run.
Yeah. So we get, and if you've ever experienced being a true adrenaline crash where you're like on edge for like 24 hours and then stop, you just sleep, man.
Yeah, you drop like a rock.
And
having experienced that.
Yeah, dude. Everything
hurts the next day. You are so groggy, and like I'm not kidding when I say this, you will in fact sleep for 12 hours.
Yeah. You it costs, right?
Yeah.
And so like
you can do Herculean things.
Yeah.
But
while
you gonna
ripping
pay for
your
it.
muscles to pieces.
Yeah.
And that there's some amount of that probably in here, right? They don't want to expend the calories and the energy and the pain of biting something they don't intend to eat.
Yeah, or something that they can't eat because like they're the sheer size difference. Like
right. It's why like rattlesnakes do it and why they have a rattle to begin with.
Yeah.
Is to they evolved in a place with herd animals like bison and deer. They don't want you to step on them, and they
Yeah.
don't want to expend the energy biting you because they're really just after rats and birds.
Yeah.
And frogs and shit, right?
Snakes I don't understand. The little like hog nose noodles that like chew on their owners or their handlers like fingers.
Yeah.
Buddy, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you doing, little guy? You gonna let go?
Yeah. And not even hard. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, they're just like
They have the ability to generate enough crushing force for you to bleed from it.
Yeah,
and then
like
they just don't. Yeah.
Like I understand that snakes are not pack animals. They don't have the cognitive thing to be attached to a person.
Yeah.
But it's instances like that where I am convinced that a snake will play.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what's happening.
Probably.
I am chewing on you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
I mean, some snakes wrestle.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of cobra breeds vie for dominance. They don't kill each other; they wrestle, and the one tries to push the other one's head down. It's like a show of strength, and that's how they take over their like breeding territory.
I think this is the first time we've ever had a conversation about snakes.
Yeah,
by the way,
I think so.
Welcome to my niche knowledge about snakes.
It's so fucking crazy. We've known each other for like 15 years. I don't think we ever have talked about.
No,
snakes.
I typically keep like my reptile talk with Hunter because the snakes are one of those things that people are either you're okay with or you're not okay with.
Yeah.
And I've known enough people that are not okay with it that I keep it to myself unless I know like this person is also chill with it.
I like them. I don't ever want to own one.
Same.
I specifically constricting snakes, because anything else like non-venomous things like a king snake or a rat snake, I think are super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to worry about them hurting me.
Yeah. Well, and they also will stay small.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
king snake, like some of them, rat snakes get real big, but like they're thin, right? They're like rope like.
Yeah.
Not, yeah.
Noodles.
Yeah. You don't really have to worry about what's going on there, Not that. Yeah. Sorry. Quick mental image of a ball python crushing my throat in my sleep.
Yeah.
Which like never happens, but also I have a rule about that. I don't like owning animals that I think might be able to kill me.
Well,
so like
chances of your cat trying to kill you are low, but never zero.
So here's a crazy thing. I've told you all about how fucking dangerous these snakes are.
Please tell me there isn't a black market for people trying to make these things pets.
A massive one.
No.
Poachers of golden lancehead vipers to private collectors and researchers. They can sell these snakes for $10,000 to $30,000 per snake.
Fuck that.
So yeah, if you get a couple of them, I mean, you and your buddies can make a year of worth of income in like one day.
Yeah, but still, you are going onto an island that has a highly specialized and evolved viper. Like, let me just swap the terminology here. We're moving away from snake, and calling it a viper because that is its classification. It is a predatory snake that has evolved with a venom meant to incapacitate and kill very quickly. Now, granted, birds, but still, it is.
That just means it'll kill you slower and more painfully.
This is a viper that has a specialization to kill quickly and effectively to survive. Not only that, it is a tree-dwelling snake, which means this hoe will drop on your head, pop you in the neck, and then just sit and wait.
Yep.
And why? Why? Like, I understand to some point the idiocy that goes with it's a status. It's the world's most venomous snake. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's probably not. But like for the rich folk trying to just have exotic things, you are in danger.
Yeah, super in danger. If it pops you in the hand.
If it is not a dry bite, if that snake is feeling truly threatened and it is not a dry bite, what are you going to do with it? Like,
if you have one in your home
that
and
is,
you own the antivenom,
you still only have a 7% chance of survival.
Oh, no, it's flipped. It's flipped.
Oh, okay.
So most of these things don't. I was not super clear about that earlier. I'm sorry. So 7% of the people die from them.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
yeah,
Got it.
snakes.
I misunderstood.
No.
My apologies.
Snakes,
But still,
in real life, like in movies, they're always super deadly. But most snakes, you will not die from if you're bitten.
yeah.
Right? Like otherwise, humanity would have had a much harder time. In this area, in Texas especially.
Oh yeah, we're a wetland. We're a swamp.
Yeah, because moccasins exist, and water moccasins will, in fact, chase you. Have been chased.
I am lucky enough to have never encountered one.
They are.
Rattlesnakes, on the other hand,
they are fast.
Most snakes are actually like like I've seen. My buddy Hunter had a menagerie of reptiles, including snakes, and he had a couple of them that were pretty docile, pretty chill snakes. Like they were well fed. They had no reason to be hostile ever.
Yeah.
I in fact never saw any of his snakes give any sort of behavioral indication of a mad. Like, but during feeding time, like not just the kitchen tongs, but the barbecue tongs.
Yeah.
And that is for those that don't know, that is a special classification of tongs here in Texas.
Yeah. Longer and stronger, yeah.
And like he would hand over that mouse, and I have never fucking seen a snake that big book it that fast.
They're quick and
they're very
bursts.
fast.
And so you have a 7% chance of being killed. You have a 3% chance of being killed even with the antivenom. Here's the issue, right? Because I want to expound further into that.
Please. Because like I still don't see a reason to own this snake.
And you shouldn't. Ever.
Like it's pretty. I'll give you that. Like it is a cool looking snake. There is a leaf constrictor that you can get in a color very similar to that with the same like shaped head and body.
Yeah.
That cannot envenomate you to death.
And here's like
it has teeth though.
So that statistic, because remember I told you there was no real confirmed snake bite statistics. There aren't enough. Because its mainland cousin, the lancehead viper, is that poisonous.
Okay.
Here's the problem. The golden lancehead is thought to be 5 times as venomous.
And people are buying this.
We don't know how venomous these things are. Not really, right? We don't have the data to know how fucking deadly they are.
Because there's no ethical way to gather said data.
Yes, you just have to wait till somebody gets bit and then try to find out.
The people that are getting bit are either criminals or rich folk who have their own private doctors who are never ever going to give that data away to anyone.
And or the right, because if you're a research scientist and research scientists go to this island, you are wearing snake gear.
Yeah.
You're probably not getting bit.
And I don't think a research scientist who is scientisting a snake that is this venomous is going to be like, yeah, okay, for the data.
Right. They don't. And I saw a photo of a guy just in kind of like shorts, like not shorts, but in a just fishing shirt, right, with gloves. But he's got snake-proof pants. He also has a very large hat and net over his face. There's a lot of stuff that would keep him protective. He's also a snake expert.
Yeah.
So the chances are that he gets bit, period, are pretty low. Right? You remember like those interviews with Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
He handled poisonous snakes all the time. He had only ever been bitten like twice.
Yeah.
Like people who are good at that.
And then there's that mook in Florida who's been bitten so many times his blood is just kind of a catch-all anti-venom.
Yeah. And that's like rattlesnakes mostly,
yeah.
Right? And other things that are significant.
Is he in Florida? I want to say he's in Florida because the wild stuff happens in Florida.
A lot of shit happens. So here's what's going on here.
Poachers and scientists.
Yeah, poachers and scientists. So I think there's actually a Mr. Beast video where he goes here.
Ew. Okay,
yeah.
First of all, I don't like Mr. Beast.
Yeah. But he goes to the island or to the lighthouse or something.
For fucking what?
The only people who go to this island are researchers, people with special permits, or the Navy to fix the lighthouse, and then they leave. Right? So it's isolated.
Yeah.
The internet sucks. AI fucking blows. And I say that because in doing research, I keep coming up with problems like this. If you, the golden lancehead thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much they cost, $10,000 to $30,000 per snake.
Mm-hmm.
If you look up how much lancehead vipers, how much the golden lancehead costs and its poison, I just mentioned that it gives you the poison of the regular lancehead viper.
Mm-hmm.
That is also true of the price. If you search, can you buy a golden lancehead viper? It will give you a lancehead viper, the regular mainland version, which is a lot less poisonous. And on undergroundreptiles.com, you can buy one for $349.99. Now, that snake is a lot less rare and 5 times less poisonous.
Yeah.
So, like,
also, do they look the same?
no, they are jungle toned. They're not golden like that. So they're like brown and black and all that kind of stuff,
Not
right?
a golden lance head, a lance head.
On RioandLearn.com, the island is also home to the Jararaca dormidera, or the Dipsis mecani is the scientific term.
Don't you love those Latin names?
Yeah. A fascinating non-venomous snake. In English, it is called the Mikan's tree snake, or sometimes referred to as the sleeping tree snake. It poses no threat to humans whatsoever because it's non-venomous. It doesn't really bite a lot. However, it plays an important ecological role in feeding on slugs and snails, contributed to the island's biodiversity. So, like, the golden lancehead is not the only snake on this island.
Mhm.
There are also the white-black striped sea snake that a lot of us are used to, that I've actually seen one in person. Very rare in our part of the world, but they do sometimes happen. They get those as well in that part of the world, hunting for fish mostly. A lot of migratory birds. It's their natural habitat. It's the other snakes largely feed on toads and all that kind of stuff, and it's suggested kind of without, if you didn't have the golden lancehead there, the migratory birds would do very, very well. However, they would probably eat a lot of the other snakes and toads because there's nothing like regulating them. That's the issue with removing
like
predatory species.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that you fuck up the entire ecology of the space, and you end up losing other species. So according to the modern data on this, about 50% of the island is no longer habitable for the golden lancehead because of those burns we talked about earlier. And also, like, around building the lighthouse, and also just climate change, and because that storms come through, right, and destroy stuff. It's a lot of the natural environment of the snake has been destroyed, about 50%, like I said, and they're considered endangered right now. So these poachers are very much destroying the environment of the snake, which sucks because they're really cool looking, and I'm glad
they are really cool looking snakes.
They're super unique, and some people might be wondering, well, why would I care about that if they're so goddamn dangerous? And that's a valid question.
What happens to an animal when its ecosystem, when its home is being destroyed?
Yeah.
They move.
Sometimes they move. Also, because that's true. Sometimes they move, right? And if they made their way into mainland,
that's bad.
They would be a lot of places. Now, granted, there's also ground predators in mainland South America that they're not used to. So they probably wouldn't be able to make it that far.
Or at least not very quickly.
Here's my concern about this. Venom is a new and exciting thing in medical science.
Mm-hmm.
Chemotoxins specifically might hold the key to ending cardiac disease. Because when you have plaque buildup in your heart, chemotoxins destroy that.
It's destroy like a pipe cleaner in your veins.
Yeah, because they destroy they destroy blood cells and old carotid, like old dried up and macrophaged blood cells driven to the side of your arteries, doubly so. They have no defense, right? So the idea is that some of these snakes also have anticoagulant stuff in their venom, which causes the venom to move faster, just like mosquitoes.
Because it prevents clotting.
Leeches,
for those that don't know what anticoagulant means.
Yeah, leeches have this, right? That's why when you pull them off, you start bleeding like crazy. It's not that they put a big hole in you. They don't. They have very, very small mouths.
It's just that their saliva, like that they secrete, has a property in it that does not let your blood clump together and clot.
Right. And so one of the reasons you might really care about protecting this species is that they might be invaluable to future medical research. They might also allow us to develop other chemicals that we just can't even think of right now. For instance, Velcro. This is a very bad example, but how we got that is that a sticker burr held onto someone's sock, and they wondered why.
Microburrs.
Yeah, and when you look at the surface of Velcro, it closely resembles those little balls that get stuck to your socks. That is one example of an entire field of material science that we look at nature and we go, well, how? Right? How do modern day quadcopter drones fly? Well, we looked at animals that do this. The V bomber, the big like giant V, I think it's the flying V-shaped bomber. The inspiration for that came from a kind of seed pod, which drops from a tree and glides down, and it's shaped like that. So, like, we just don't know. In the future, like, this might be very important.
It's already in the category of things that, like, scientists are going, maybe?
Yeah.
We are in the fuck around portion of find out.
Right. And it might, for instance, be... Here's another issue that you have with, like, the modern study of venom. Sometimes in the process of creating anti-venom, you discover a new chemical.
Mm-hmm.
A new chemical compound that could do a number of things. You just don't know.
Yeah.
You know, like, you never know what you're going to learn because we get wild shit. I mean, like, very much an opposite. Sometimes things that we think are very, very valuable end up being like toys. Silly putty, for instance, was used for a chemical reason for some point. And like,
wasn't Play-Doh originally like made to clean soot off walls?
Some crap like that. I mean, like some.
Or is that an urban legend? I can't.
That might be silly putty because silly putty is still like DAC is very useful for that.
Slime was developed to clean keyboards.
Yes. Yeah. The really dense held together.
Mm.
Yeah. It works excellent because
super glue was originally used as liquid sutures.
Yeah. The tampon was developed to close bullet holes.
Yep.
At least that's the urban legend I heard of, but it does make sense. It has an insert applicator. It closes, stops the flow of fluid. And I imagine that would be so painful. Yeah. But hemophiliac medication is now being used to do that same thing, to stop bleeding from wounds. Because, like, the modern version of medicine is harm reduction, right? Like, so, like, normally you would not use it for that. It would make, it would clot your blood.
Yeah, it would induce a heart attack.
Yeah, but if you're, like, bleeding, you take the risk. You're right, like, you take the risk.
If you're already dying.
Yeah. And so that's my thing on this great island of golden lancehead vipers. Just for fascination, if you think snakes and spiders and cool creepy crawlies are really awesome, undergroundreptiles.com has a list of things. I do believe you have to have a lab license to get a venomous animal. They tell you flat out this might be illegal in your country.
Civilians, you don't need a venomous critter.
No,
you don't need it.
The list of non-venomous critters in there is miles long.
Yeah.
And you don't need a venomous critter. They're very dangerous. And if they get out, you will put yourself and your children or pets or just neighbors,
your general ecosystem where you are, in danger, because lots of these animals are very pervasive.
Case in point.
Invasive. Some of them can be pervasive.
Yeah, it was like you brought up an excellent thing about Florida, which now has a python issue.
Yeah.
Because people kept letting their goddamn pets out. And now we have a snake that is perfectly adapted for a jungle environment, is in the Florida Everglades, and has almost no natural predators.
Yeah.
Like, outside of giant hogs, and maybe like alligators, there's not a lot in the Everglades that can deal with a 10-foot python.
Yeah.
That's...
I have a whole set of issues about, like, bringing animals into a climate or zone, a place that they don't belong in.
Right.
Like, first of all, I've got a whole vendetta against owning exotic animals. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'll be the first one to look at an ocelot and go, I want that.
Yeah.
I will never own that because that is a predator.
Yeah.
That is a big, that it's very small, but it's a big cat.
Yeah. It will fuck up your cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, one of my cats is a fucking dump truck, but, like, I'm not going to leave my cat alone in a room with, a cat that's 5 times her size.
Yeah.
Like, these people that own big cats in general,
especially when it's like when you look at the big cat market, the ones that people gravitate to are not, they don't have family relationships, right?
Yeah.
Like it's always lions and tigers, but it's like, I want a male lion.
No.
Why? They don't play well with others. I want a tiger. They play well with exactly
no one.
one person.
Yeah.
That's their mate, and that's it.
And even then, only
Yeah.
sometimes. But like, I've never, let me start myself over here. I've never looked into the reptile thing because yes, I think they're very, very cool. Like if there is a handler there that has a great big giant fuck off snake and you are allowed to like pet or hold or experience said animal, hell yes, first in line. I've held a crocodile. Did you know?
Yeah.
Iguanas, so cool.
Yeah.
Chameleons, awesome. Snakes, yes please. Will I ever own one? Absolutely not, because I have never gone into in-depth care and instructional anything on these animals because I don't want to be responsible for something like that.
Yeah.
Like
you can, like we have friends that have
Yeah.
lizards, and they're very like, they've built them habitats. They know how they
Exactly.
feed. They know their temperaments, and they're okay with that.
Yeah, and I'm cool
Like-
with that. I've never looked into the reptile anything because I don't necessarily want that responsibility. I think they're super cool. And I have a blast with my friends that do own them. But anyone that is outside of a scientific and or a medical study, practice, profession, you don't need anything to do with a venomous anything.
Right. Yeah.
No, there is no reason you should have that unless you are providing this animal's venom or research on this animal to a medical anything.
Yeah.
Or a scientific anything.
And that's a job. You can go get a
Yes.
license to handle.
That is a job. That is not
Yeah.
recreational. That is not for fun. Just for shits and giggles. I have a water moccasin. He hates everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
His name is Steve. Why do you own Steve?
Yeah.
Why?
Right. The only thing that I can even think of buying a venomous snake that would be any kind of beneficial to me is if let's say I own a small farm and I've got a rodent problem and that snake is indigenous to the area I live in. So I'm going to go get a rattlesnake and there's going to be a rattlesnake near me to kill, or a rat snake or a king snake or whatever, right? Those other two you don't
Barn
really have
snake.
to worry about. Yeah, any kind of thing that will go kill these fucking rats that is already there. And even then, I have options that are non-venomous.
See,
Right?
and
Rat snakes are not dangerous to me.
I have the same problem with the with bugs, the bug trade,
Yeah.
the bug people.
Oh, if your cage breaks open and it looses a bunch of fucking like very niche, arthropods into the local environment, like how easily are you going to be able to remove them?
Yeah. And like specifically, I thought about the people that have venomous spiders.
Ooh, yeah.
Why? If you need a spider, go make friends with a wolf spider, bro.
Yeah, you can get at undergroundpetstock. No.
Fuck that. I will go to my
Yeah,
garden and make friends with the wolf
Yeah.
spiders there. I told you I did that last summer, right?
Yeah, there are tons of actually pretty, like, spiders are intelligent, we now
Yeah.
know. And there are tons of, like, for whenever I want to see a spider, because I live in South Texas, I wait for the spring. I go walking in the woods a lot.
Yeah.
And I go look at the beautiful golden orb weaver
Yes.
matrons up in the trees. One of the banana spider, one of the only spiders that doesn't routinely eat all of their mates. And golden orb weavers are gorgeous. And I can go and like look at all their beautiful color and variety and never have to move them.
Yeah.
They are where they are. I just need to find a forested path that doesn't have a lot of open sky.
So I used to have a problem with spiders. I don't anymore thanks to the internet.
Yeah.
And thanks to content creators that have pages dedicated to said spiders. I literally this last summer, like the summer that I went whole hog on like making myself a fucking garden. I literally made friends with like 2 or 3 different wolf spiders in my garden. Like I would be out there pruning or pulling weeds, and then like we think of spiders as very, very small and creepy crawly. I have never been politely tapped by a spider before.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like they do that because they do warning legs,
Yeah.
but like the little garden type variety wolf spiders will like or come up to you because they eat aphids and shit,
Yeah.
right? So they come up to you and they just kind of watch you. That's so fun to me. I'm just like because they have like personality, which
Yeah.
is very strange. But
I I and you can tell them apart. They have distinct markings.
yeah,
Like especially when like it I recognize that most of us go, spider, smash.
there are some versions of I forget what they're called, but they're a brown spider, and they get mistaken for the garden spiders a lot because of their general shape.
Mm.
But they're like the size of my hand.
Oh yeah, those big bastards.
Yeah, those will freak me out because I know when they carry staff real bad.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't necessarily want to get bit by one of those guys, but they're also big enough to do real harm.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, they also like run for open doors whenever I. So like I'm like, here you go.
Daddy long leg spiders creep me out a little bit just because they're shaped a little weird. But I don't know. I you don't need a venomous creature. If you want a creepy crawly, go to your garden.
Yeah.
Go chill in the grass for a bit.
Right.
You'll meet a grass snake.
One of my favorite things, though, I will say in the insect market that is kind of fun is like rhinoceros beetles. You know what I mean? Beetles and ants and stuff like that are not. You don't have to be as careful with them. Ants maybe a little more so because they can become very very invasive. Not so much with beetles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like big beetles, like dung beetles, rhino beetles, that kind of stuff. They're so big, stag beetles that like you're not going to lose them.
Yeah.
And also they don't move very fast. So like, but they're neat. They are neat to watch. And again, they have a little more like personality to them. Right. Like, but
I brought spiders up, or specifically the jumping spider, the wolf spider up, because they will come home if they get out.
yeah,
Like that, the spiders are intelligent, and also like it. I am no professional in this. I am not an expert. I am some chick that got on the internet one day and said, "I'm tired of being afraid of spiders. I live in South Texas. I'm surrounded by them all the time. I'm tired of jumping at shadows or any like fleeting feeling that feels like something is crawling on me, and it's my hair 90% of the time." So I'm gonna make myself not afraid of spiders, and that is how I got unafraid of spiders, because I used to have a real problem with them. So I have taken in media and educational things that have informed me that spiders specifically.
Yeah. Of all of the things that like bite and attack humans, ticks are way more dangerous.
Ticks are awful.
Ticks are more dangerous than snakes. Ticks are more like the mosquito is the deadliest thing on earth. Like
yeah,
the stuff that we're afraid of is never the stuff like everybody's terrified of sharks. Shark bites are so rare.
Yeah.
Like unless you live in a mangrove swamp in Thailand, not likely to happen. Right? Like if you shore fish a lot in southern Florida, you might have encountered a bull shark.
And even then, pop them on the nose.
Yeah, they're not, typically speaking, they're on the younger side when you encounter them. They're not very big. You have to be out there to get to the big ones. And that's more likely actually to happen here because the water's so murky.
Mm-hmm.
They're not after.
Our beaches are brown.
Yeah. We have river silt water. It's not clear at all.
Yeah.
Which is great for fish.
Yep.
And that's why they're here. So like, there's all that wonderful stuff. The snake thing, I don't like when encountering this, right? I've heard of snake islands before. There's plenty of islands all over the world that are nesting grounds for snakes. I've never heard of one that was so specific to this, of just being like, it sits in a tree. And I mentioned that non-venomous version.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you encounter a snake in a tree, this may be also where part of this like one snake per square meter comes from, is that there are other snakes.
Yeah.
And so some of the snakes in this very forest don't do anything. They sit against the tree and sleep until like a big frog comes by and pops the frog. Or a slug or whatever, and they're significantly smaller. These guys are like a couple feet long.
And
like,
they're
pretty big.
Bright yellow guys.
Yeah, you can
bright
see
yellow.
that.
Like Like they are richer, more richer toned than a banana.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. They're like a really pretty gold. But so if you're ever in the Brazilian coastline of Sao Paulo, don't.
Don't.
Yeah,
Don't.
don't. Just don't.
If you are rich and want exclusive things, don't.
Yeah.
Don't.
For real.
There's no reason for that. There is no reason you need something that dangerous in your house.
Yeah.
No.
Ever. I just like
there is no reason you need something that dangerous in your house that does not like you, will not like you, will never like you.
No. They are only concerned that you are too big to swallow.
That's it.
That's pretty much it. And then like this snake is more dangerous than a fer-de-lance. It's more dangerous than a lancehead viper.
Yeah.
It's more dangerous than a water moccasin by a leap.
There
Because water moccasins don't kill most of the people. And that's true. Like, if untreated, you have a little better than a 1 in 10 chance of surviving. And here's the part that I did not mention, and this is probably a good place to close out. This is true of many hemotoxic snakes, right? If we're talking about the taipan, if we're talking about the Russell's viper, if we're talking about the golden lancehead viper. If it bites you, there is a strong possibility that years down the road, you will experience renal failure.
Yep.
Because it does so much damage to your body when it's inside of you. So, like...
the venom, not the snake itself.
Yeah, not the snake. If that's what you're into. Geez,
seen that hentai.
Instant death. But yeah, these kind of like hemotoxic venoms, sometimes they make your blood thick.
Mm-hmm.
Those heavy, like, they cause chronic issues, but even like bleeding hemotoxic venoms usually cause like kidney and liver damage that then later becomes a problem later on in your life. This is the case with Russell's vipers. If you look at the deaths attributed to them, it's very small. If you look at the deaths of the complications of them, it's much higher. So when people are like, why should you be so like not wanting to handle a golden lancehead viper? It's because they're pretty sure even if it doesn't kill you,
it'll get you in the end.
It still gets you. Yeah, like, and you're like, damn, man, that sucks.
Yeah, there is no fucking reason. So I am all for conservation of species. Like, hands down, no question. Absolutely rope that island off.
Yes.
Make it the no-flyest of the no-fly zones.
Yeah.
Airdrop some trees.
Yeah.
Leave it the fuck alone.
Yeah, just leave it alone. It is one of those places, like, that's what, when I was looking for Morbid Mondays things, I found a lot of just dumb shit that's, like, doesn't matter to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And when I stumbled onto this one, I was like, oh, this is like one of those places, like that underground crystal cave that they pump all the water out of every once in a while to go explore. This is one of those places that you as a human being should never be.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, there's no... Yeah. You were not meant to be here. This is a
island
prehistoric
does not
world.
want you.
Yeah, it's time to leave, right? The only human feature is the lighthouse.
That's fucking crazy.
It's nuts. But yeah, that's my topic for today.
That was awesome. Thank you. that was great.
To learn about the pseudo history of the golden
viper.
They thought that pirates put him there to protect the gold. That was the legend.
Honestly, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
You would need to start with at least like 6 breeding pairs.
Yeah. And then there was another legend that was like,
but then, like, how do you sex a snake in 1532?
You don't. Yeah. And then they have, there's a legend that, like, they migrated over. And then there was some legend about a curse. There's always a legend about a curse. But they've been there the whole time. They were there long before human beings.
Sorry. I had a mummy moment. So, yeah, that's fantastic. And, like, huzzah, urban legends. I fucking love that shit.
Unfortunately, I could not find anything from the original Explorer
Boo!
that talked about the snakes.
Really?
Yeah, because, like, it was hard enough. Just, like, getting his name is easy. Getting the stuff about him that isn't in Portuguese.
Oof.
Because that's the thing. Like, if you look up
and Portuguese is difficult on those auto translators.
It does. It wants to think it's Spanish the entire time. And like
Like you have to specifically, like, unless you have the dialect.
And then also it's in the 1500s. So given a couple of months, I probably could find a bunch of sources of his exploration,
Mhm.
but I don't think he actually explored the island. I think that's
Can
why it
you
was so
blame
hard.
him?
No, I think they like hit it and they went, look, small island. And they might have gone on shore to see if there was any kind of like food. But the thing is, the island is not really that big. And like when you look at aerial photos of it, it's mostly rocky outcrop.
And I would imagine that like there would not be a whole lot of like edible vegetation.
Yeah, right. Other than maybe looking literally for bananas, right? Which
Yeah.
is what that story about the guy in the boat was. Fishing would be way more common. You're in
Yeah.
the middle of the ocean, you can do that, right? You're in the shallows off of Sao Paulo.
So that's prime like netting territory.
Yeah, so like there's that, right? And then also if you're a Portuguese explorer in this time period, you're coming from the Caribbean, right? You just left a resupply station.
Yeah.
You have material, right? You've got water, you've
At
got
this point,
food.
you still have sugar too.
Right. So there's no reason you are more concerned with the inland, the flats of the inland, and like sad to say, the slave labor of the area and the plantations. What you're looking for is just you're mapping the area.
Yeah.
You're not really concerned with finding things. So,
But boy, howdy, would you find something though?
yeah, you would find the wrong thing.
You would find a hemorrhaging death.
And I think for a lot of these guys, they would take a quick look around. They would go, what's around? Snakes. And then they would leave because they don't have medicine to stop this, to do anything about it. And also a quick look around and not seeing like fruit. Because remember, this is a bird migratory island.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of food just hanging around.
No.
Right? So outside of what's on the beach, you might find like, literally coconuts.
Yeah.
So outside of that, you're probably not going into the interior of the island that much. So there's nothing written that I can find about it. And that sucked because I wanted a story of a fucking Portuguese, explorer, conquistador, colonizer type getting fucking zapped by lanceheads.
Yes.
And instead, all I kept finding was like, oh, and they just enslaved people and made them do it. And so I was like, well, that sucks. And I don't like that. But there's no like human colonization of this island. So that's not even likely to happen there. So, damn, dude. In the indigenous kingdoms that existed before, wouldn't have largely written down very specific knowledge about golden lancehead vipers.
Can you imagine if they did, though?
I mean, like, when you get into, like, Mayan, Inca, and Aztec territory, they write a lot about a lot of stuff, and we've got plenty of knowledge on them. But, like, but not in, like, the crazy specifics of, like, this exact snake. Like, you need to talk to, like, a person that's categorized medicine of the area,
and even then, probably it was more likely passed down verbally.
Yes. Yeah. We're lucky that in places like South America and Mesoamerica, we have things like the Popova, and like we have writing, like a lot of stories and creation stories and daily life stories and stuff that tell us, and they leave plenty of art around, which I love.
My phone is just going off.
Yeah. But yeah, so don't with the snakes.
Yeah, do not the snake.
Do not the snake.
Do not the snake.
If you're tired of these snakes,
get off that motherfucking island.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is their island.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson. This one's not for you.
I'm sorry, Master Windu. The answer is no.
All right. But
What?
Shit.
What?
I forgot to mention it all. I've mentioned we apparently have fans in Asia and Africa and Europe and everywhere else now.
Well, hi guys.
Yeah. How? Because we talked about this on the phone before. I completely forgot to mention it.
Oh yeah, we did talk about it on Monday.
Yeah, hello. Also, to all the Apple users that I don't know how to see who you are and otherwise would acknowledge you, but can't. Because I don't have an iPhone. I don't even have an Apple account. I will work on that.
That's so cool. We've broken international waters.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's pretty dope.
Yay. Well, enjoy morbid history facts that may be in your region of the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi.
If you know anything myths about this island that you maybe live in South America around Brazil and you are aware of the history of the golden lancehead, I guess leave it in the comments. Like that would be so fucking awesome.
Yeah. Also, that is a standing invitation to converse in the comments. Like,
Yeah.
please.
Hey, this is Brian from Morbid Mondays. If you like the show, please consider stopping by at our Ko-fi account. That's ko-fi/Morbid Mondays. It's $1 a month, and or just any one-time tip. And if you would like to help us fund our future endeavors and or just want to show a little bit of appreciation, awesome. Thank you so much for listening. And if you don't. Whatever. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening.